Hey, my name is Badass Benny and welcome to my channel. If you're an ACE, AMAC, and sex human trafficking survivor, you're in the right place. And it won't cost you a penny to like and subscribe and to share worldwide. And please leave a comment down below on the video. And today we're going to talk about ACE survivors, adverse childhood experiences. If you are one, please say, I'm one. This is Tanya Marie. She's 6 years old, and we were in Capella, California, by Ukiah, Potter Valley area. We went to Capella school in the 70s, in the early 70s. She's no longer with us. I found out from a curandera that she died from an overdose of drugs. Her parent, her mother and my mother and myself, we hitchhiked together. So this was in the early 70s, and I haven't gone to school or anything, and our parents were getting away from a notorious biker gang. And I've talked to a friend about this, him and I were talking about Sons of Anarchy and watching the show, and how I was being triggered and I didn't even know why. Because a lot of the partying and a lot of the drinking and using and the sex and porn and sex trafficking, all that, yeah, it's real. And I'm a person of color. Here's this baby under a table while everybody's partying around them, using and fucking and all kinds of ugly, dark stuff. And here we are. And I just remember we were trying to get away one night. We got inside of a truck, a semi-truck. And I was sleeping in the back and had a backpack, and Tanya was back there. And I remember getting woken up and telling her to get out. Telling her to get out of the truck because we were called whores. And this was at a truck stop. And Tanya's mom and my mom got out, and I got my backpack, and the man drove off. And I was sleeping in the camper in the back, sleeper. And we were trying to get away, whatever my mom and Penny had to do, but my mom, whatever she had to do to get us away, I thanked her for it. But she won't talk about it. I had all these flashbacks for all these years. In school, flashbacks, just sitting there going, and I asked my mom about it, nothing. She don't want to know. She doesn't want to know. She wants to be dementia and I don't remember, or whatever. But I'm telling you that we are survivors of sex human trafficking from a notorious biker gang. And I don't recall any sexual assaults about me with them, but I do remember just hitchhiking everywhere. From Sacramento to Southern Oregon. I remember going up in a house, and this house was a 2-story house. I remember my mom had this ponytails out to here, and they went down. And, 60s big orange color flowery dress that went up to the knees maybe, and boots. And I remember she's grabbing me by the hand, and we're going up to this place, and I knew inside I didn't want to be there. And then I go off into this room, and there's a little boy in there. And I just, the little boy said, "Don't cry," and I put my back up against the wall, and I think I've told this story. And I was very shocked. I didn't know what to do, and the little boy was probably between 8 and 10. And There was a bed in there. It was a small closet-like room. And this old white man comes out. He's got a hat, beard, mustache, shorts and stuff. And he comes out and says, I'm in the wrong room. I need to get out. He locks the outside of the door and he says, go sit down where your mom's at. So I sat there. And that's part of an ACE experience and sex human trafficking. And, I can't talk to my mom about this. She doesn't want to know. She doesn't want to talk about it. And it's hurtful and harmful to me and my older brother. My older brother hates her. He does nothing more, and he drinks too. So it wouldn't be good if he saw her, because it just wouldn't be good. And he feels abandoned, and more so, and when you have parents that do drugs, it's all about them. And it's been like that. And my mother is a retired MFT. Talk about a mindfuck. Now, this is my truth. This is why I'm on here. You're my witnesses. This is my truth. And I've been telling my story for a long time, but never like on paper or on a video or and people like me are not around. They're dead, or they got something in their arm, or god awful things. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here telling my story. Tanya Marie's dead, and I'm telling her story. And we would hitchhike to school. It was like 16 miles away. I get there late, have work out of a workbook in my tent, and I got found out of smoking cigarettes by poking holes in the tent, things like that. So, living in the trailer, I got put in that. We were living in an apartment, my stepdad and my mom, and they were arguing. And I remember going upstairs, and I remember my stepdad just looked at me. He turned around. I could hear my mom, or he's saying, just stab me. And he turned around and looks at me, and he just pushed me hard down the stairs, and I hit the door, and the cops come. My mom said, loose lips, sink ships. And all of a sudden, I'm in the trailer. I'm in the trailer. It was really hard for me to be around the loud music and the parties and school night. And I love learning too, so I think I didn't get that social connective with my brother and my mom and things too growing up. And so it's causing problems today. And my mom was saying I have a big imagination. It's so hurtful, the things that, how she's being. And my brother taking her side, my little one brother. And that's his dad, that one who pushed me down the stairs. So Vern wrote, or my stepdad did write a letter and apology to me. And I'm grateful for that. And I forgive it, and we were actually getting close and wanting to talk more. And then when I told him that, I was trans, he just laughed, and I told him I had to detach with love and so that I could live. Because it was like that as a kid. Just my name was Brat until I was a teenager. And, I think my my stepdad and my mom did the best they could with what they have, but, there's some abuse there, child abuse, and I fell through the cracks. And because of it, my mom don't want to talk about it. Vern took responsibility, but I will say his name out loud because I have respect. And he's passed away. He's dead. And we didn't have a funeral. My little brother didn't have it because of all this. And it's not fair. It's not right, I told him. I was with, your dad before you were born. 6, 7 years before you were born, So Bert and I, we made peace, but not with his son and my mom. So I don't know what's going to happen. But no one can tell me that this person did not exist, and it's not my imagination. We are ACE and sex human trafficking survivors. And she remembers me smoking. I got to see Tanya Marie again at 13. She came out on the ranch, her and her mom, out of nowhere. And all she could tell me is, remember me smoking. And I do have a story about a dog getting hit, and I witnessed it. And that's another time. So this is me taking care of myself, is telling my stories. And I'm asking you to be my witness to them.